Well, greetings again. This is Dr. Bill Wyatt, and I'm with the American Orthodontic Society, and I want to go over a arch wire. It's not a regular arch wire because it's a large, big, and somebody called it Big Daddy, but we were using it, that name stuck. So it's just a large wire, either a 036 or 040 wire is what we make it out of normally. And we use this for lateral expansion, and it will expand anything you put it on. If you can straighten it out, you make the thing fit the arch wire, fit the case that you're working it on. And if you want to expand around in the bicuspid area, you got to kind of bring it out there in that area, and you can tie this pressure off at the bicuspid instead of pulling just the molar. And I'm going to show you how you have to torque with this as you make it. I'll do the torquing part after we show you how to make this. Now I know most of you know how to do this, but there's some question is how we torque the teeth in the arch as we laterally expand them. So let's get on with just the making of it, and we'll show how you do that. Now we take an 036 or an 040 arch wire. You can buy these wires at a 14-inch stick, and you can cut the things half in two, and they'll make two of these wires. And this is a very economical way of doing almost any type of expansion in the bottom other than palatal separators. Now this wire will expand the palate kind of like this, where a palatal separator would expand it this way. Now you don't gain arch length coming out this way, but you can expand one with this where you don't want to separate the anterior, and it will pull the labial portion of the wire in, and that'll bring the teeth in on some people that you don't want to develop the fullness of the mouth, although you want to bring this part in so you can just make a space on each side of this wire. And I'll talk to that when we get into bending this again. So this is a 14-inch piece of 036 or 040 wire. And when you're starting off with this, you don't want to expand it too much, because if they don't come back, they're going to have the teeth way out to the side. All right, let's go. We'll cut the piece of this, and you bend it over. Well, we're using a turbine, a torquing turbine here. And you can take just a stick if you want to, and you can bend this wire down. But we'll bend this down and over here until we have the ends of them crossing down here, and you let off, and it'll be about the shape of an arch wire. And you're going to put it on a wax pattern of the teeth and see exactly where it's going to be and everything. So we take it and we curve this wire around that. This is a torquing deal around anything. You can have a stick almost and do it around that. And we mash that around till the ends of it are crossed over at the bottom. Let's see if we can show you that. Yeah, here we go. Now we bring it in, these ends are coming out, and this wire really, you pick both ends out about where you want to go with it. Now when I let off on this arm here will go up this way, and this will come up this way, and then we can adapt that to the wax pattern, and you can see where we're going to make that. Now we've made it to fit this, and this is a stainless steel wire. Now no fanciness with it. This picture right here is just an intruding wire, just to forget about it. It's in the wrong place here. Now, when we do this wire, the big daddy arch wire, this will be for the upper. You're going to run it in the headgear tubes right here, and then you can either, if you want to run this past this and bring that tooth out, or if you have arch wire over here, you don't even have to do that. It'll pull it out too. Now, if you're going to come around and you wanted to expand in this area, you'd make this arch go further out like this and come back into the molar here. And so when you get it hooked up here, you can expand these teeth or pull them to this arch wire, and it won't, your pressure on the wire will be taken out up here in the bicuspid area, so you can widen it, or normally you're just going to bend it out and it's going to widen this whole thing out. Let's go ahead and show this coming up. So here's the wire. We've got a wax pattern, and you make this of your teeth, you see, and you mark the center of it, and you make here at the molar where you're going up to the molars, you mark it. I can't see on this pattern, but here the teeth are coming around like that, which you can see on the wax pattern. All right, you're going to use a young plier. Now this is not your regular plier, it's a heavier duty plier, and you can cut these have to be pretty strong, and you're going to bend around this second deal most of the time. So here's the young plier, and it's got some grooves in here that we'll use on, I'll show you that. Now you mark where you want this to go down. So we're going to take this, and we're using it in the upper, so we'll have the arch wire come along here, and then you drop down, and you're going to go into the headgear tube with that. Now, so we are going to change that up, bend it up in that direction, then you bend it back in the other direction, and you've got a little dog leg in it. It's moving like that, and that fits in your headgear tube, and this runs right under your arch wire right here, and your brackets and everything right on top of it. All right, so we put both of those bends in that. Now this fits in here, and this is kind of just about over where the arch wire is. In other words, we brought the wire down to this place where this rectangular wire is. Now you've got to get into a rectangular wire before you do any major expansion, because you're going to have to torque these teeth out. Now, I'm going to explain this torquing after we get through seeing how to make them like this. You make them like that, and now we're going to hook it up, but you need to be into a rectangular wire before you do some major expansion. If it's just a slight amount, you can put this on day one to do a little expansion. All right, let's make it, that's the upper one now. And you can take it and you put a mark here where it is. Let me go back here. And now you bend this wire out about a 1/2 inch on either side. In other words, I just straighten this wire out like that. And now it's sticking out about a 1/2 inch on each side. If you want to know exactly how much force you're putting on there, you can take a device we call a Orthodontics gauge, and I hope you can see this there. You push it on there, and I would get here, this is 1 pound it's pushing. It's pushing with a pound, or you should pull with a pound, either one. But you put this Orthodontics gauge over here, hook this one in the headgear, it's sticking out twice as much, and now you see how much force it takes to push this wire up to the molar where it's going to be hooked. And you divide that by 2, and that is how much pressure you've got on this whole thing. In other words, you'll take the pushing edge right here put it over on this wire and push it in until it had this wire all the way up to the where it's going to be when you hook it up, and you divide it by 2, and you can have to push this in all the way. That hurts my finger. Now that's 1 pound of force, and here's about 8 ounces. And there's 4 ounces. You want to bend this wire to take that much force, and you can tell exactly how much lateral force you've got on your arch right here, and this force is going to do this to it. It doesn't do anything to the front except as you spread this out, the front will come back some. But here, it'll just ease back in here as you do that. So let's get on with it. Now we've got a rectangular situation. I'm going to show you how to put the torque in the rectangular wire. It's going to do the work. The big wire does not torque the teeth, except if you expand it. That is a positive torque. The teeth are kind of going out like that. Now it does that, but you don't have control over it. You'd move the crown out, well, the root goes in the other direction, see? So that's where we're going to try to get the airway. We're concerned with getting the airway back. So we will have to carry this tooth out bodily. You don't want to lean it like this and have the root come back further in there. That takes away from the airway. All right, let's go with this. We hook this up, and now we've got this rectangular wire that's got torque in it, not a round wire. Then you tie it over the central teeth right here. Then the central teeth won't do much, but they may move in slightly the arch form, and here as you go out with this, will kind of flatten out, and this will come in this direction slightly, not very much. Now there it is hooked up. Now the bottom one, we bend it, we make a wax pattern, bend it the same way, come around over your arches, your arch, and you drop it under, come past, and then you make this loop, and you mash it together, push it up there, hook it, and when this one expands, it'll bring the arch wire all out, and if you're going to do the major expansion, you've got to have a rectangular wire there to bring the roots out. And you're starting off with this lower one, and you bend it, and you come back in. I think every one of you could bend this very easy. You cut it off there where you want it. Now we're not cutting it off, though. We're going to make this loop and come over here and then cut it. All right, we make that, pull it down like that. We reach in here and cut it right at the tip of that. Put it in that groove on your plier. You put it up here, mash that till this comes down and touches. And now that's about the distance to where you come under, and you come up here and tie that to the tooth where the wire's in there. It'll be the same height as the brackets. Okay, we put that in. Now you can hook this up. You put it, push in on it, you tie one of them down, and then you push on the other one. Now if you tied this one over here, this one will stick out somewhere like that. Take your doctor's gauge, push on this. Whatever force you takes to get it up there, you divide that by 2, and that's how much it's pushing out on the sides here. And you can put a lot of pressure on the bicuspids and take away from the molars if you want to, so you can expand it more like that. So you can expand anything. Okay, there it is, hooked up to the arch wire. Now I want to talk to you about torquing these teeth. And I'm going to go and put a little white deal up here. Now, let's assume we're just looking at the molar teeth. Let me get my marking of deals going here. Something happened. I don't have any marking. Oh, here we go. All right. We're going to put a molar tooth over here. This is the lower arch, we say. And so we got to put these teeth in here. Got another molar tooth over on this side. Now, if we're in the upper arch, this is going to be up going in the other direction. Now, when you've got a bracket. If you're using straight wire and all this stuff, good stuff, the bracket will be sticking straight out right back here. Now I've drawn it bigger than bracket. So we torque it from out here in front of it, just behind the cuspid tooth. And you don't normally need to torque the cuspid in here, but you just catch the wire as it comes around. Let's see, I'm just going to draw it as if I were coming around this way. So you're going to have to think about this in your head. So we're going to catch this wire with my pliers right behind the cuspid. And I'm going to make this crown go where I want to be forcing this root out. So when I pull this crown out, this root will be going in this direction. And you can end up having this tooth come out whatever you want out here. And it'll be still the crown and the root will be right over one another. So we want to bring the tooth out bodily. Don't lean them out this way. If you lean them, the root will go back in this direction. Okay, so we're going to put the torque that'll make this go out. And a little neat way that I do this to figure out the torque is just, okay, here I'm putting my hands up here like it's this area right here. And now I'm going to bring the arch wire up here, and I want to make this tooth do this. Now that's what I'm going to have in this wire. So the wire coming back through here would be something like that. Now or maybe even more, and I bend progressive root torque. And so when you go from this behind the cuspid back to the bicuspids and the molars, you bend it like this. You're going to see this wire turn, and it can be almost straight up and down here. Now when I get to this brackets, now this wire's like that. I bend it down and slip it into that slot. So it's going to tend to do the tooth this way. Now, if you just put this torque in an arch wire, instead of it pushing the root over in this direction, it'll make the crown go in this direction, because the crown is in the air, and this may be the bone structure around the root right here, but you're up here in the air, so the crown will move in this direction, and the root will go over in that direction to some extent. But all we want is the root to go this way. So now we've got this large arch wire out here, and that thing's got all the lateral pressure you want. If it's more, you just straighten it more. You know exactly how much it's going to do. So it will not let this torque push the crown in this direction, but the heavy wire out here will make the crown go out, and the root will go with the crown. And that's what I need to get across, because I don't think people have realized that doing this work with this large wire, you've got to torque the teeth a certain way. So this torque would be like that over here. Over on this side, maybe your torque would be that much going into a bracket coming off here. And that's going to, if you didn't have this big arch wire here to bring that crown out, it would push this bone. The bone would be around in this, something like this, and it's in the bone. The crown's in the air, so the crown would move more than the teeth would move. This teeth might move a little bit, but then you got the crown in too much. So you put this large arch wire to carry the crown as you carry the root out. So you can laterally expand with this. I want to tell you that when we really learn how to use this large arch wire like this, I don't need any kind of pressure from inside the mouth. I don't have to put a lingual arch or anything like that. And when I look at palatal separators now that their labs are making, a lot of times they just put one bracket or a molar back here and make the palatal separator. Then they use just a bar coming off of that. It wouldn't make a difference if it was square. If you just take a tooth, let me draw up here now. If I just take a tooth like this, and I'm inside, there'll be another one over here, and I just push against that tooth with a wire. Now this wire's pushing it in this direction. It will push the crown over. It'll rotate somewhere around in here, so the teeth will move out here and this crown will move over there. So that's when we build a palatal separator. Every tooth you got on the separator ought to be banded and cemented in there firmly, so as the separator pushes apart, it will tend to lean it a little bit, and you leave it there, and then it'll lean this way, and you'll be chewing on the lingual cusp. And that chewing over a long period of time will help level it out, and that's the way you get it out there if you were a crozet person doing that. So anyway, you've got to, if you use this big daddy wire very much, you can do any expansion on any age. It doesn't matter whether they're 90 years old, you could still expand their arches with this. And you just gradually move them out, and the teeth will move out, and you do it a group of teeth, you don't run them out of the bone, it'll just go out this way. Now if you start moving these forward or these forward, you're going to have to use a lip bumper to run interference, so you have a soft vascular bed for the bone to form in as you bring that out. Now, I hope I'm able to explain this. I'm doing this video primarily for the board of the AOS. I'm hoping to be able to speak to them for a little bit tomorrow morning. And thank you for watching wherever you are in this world. I don't know where I'm talking to people, but I am glad to be able to pass this on. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join our group and subscribe to it, and we'll hope to see you again in another video. Thank you now. Goodbye.